Welcome to the Spiritually Aligned Awakened-preneur journey, the basics of waking up to discover your higher conscious calling to lead and serve. I am the AliNICOLE, wow, and I am sharing this sacred space with Brenda Jacobson, and we are delighted to bring this experience to you to help you leverage your awakening experience to spiritually align at a higher vantage point for life, business, and so much more. And we have publications and a special opportunity that we're going to share about at the end of our time together. So I am always excited to share the space with Brenda because she is just so valuable, and what we do together is valuable. And we definitely looking forward to having a tremendous experience here. So Brenda, I'm excited about the work we're doing together in this area and what we're going to provide.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks again for inviting me to share the stage with you. I always enjoy our conversations, and really, I get value out of them. I know other people get tremendous value out of them. So always a
Thank you.
great
And
way. It's great
the
when you can
feeling
add
is
value and
mutual.
enjoy yourself tremendously doing it.
Oh, well stated. I agree wholeheartedly, and the feeling is doubly mutual. It is
Awesome.
very much. Yeah. And, talking about um, topics that are really important and things that are on the mind of others, especially those who are starting to wake up more. So there's different levels of a wake up call, for sure. But let's
Yes.
start talking about the basics of being spiritually aligned and awakened, and how important this is to become aware to one's higher conscious calling is really what I'm calling it, because that's what ultimately syncs people up to be able to lead and serve. And it's so important that people discover what their purpose is and continue to allow that to evolve and refine it. And that comes by way of this awakening process, but ultimately being aligned. So definitely would love to hear you talk, about that, and we can have some conversation.
Yeah, I like what you said about people being at different stages on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
The world is waking up.
Mm-hmm.
From a scientific perspective, we have different light frequencies coming into the planet. Our magnetic shield has
Mm-hmm.
lowered, and different frequencies are coming in and just saturating us in this. And they're high level frequencies. So the
Right.
wake up isn't an option. The planet is
You're
going
right.
through an evolution. We are going
Mm-hmm.
through an evolution. Waking
Mm-hmm.
up isn't an option. How much
Right.
trouble you have doing it, the difficulty you create for yourself doing it, that is optional.
That is optional. Right. It reminds me of that quote. I can't remember who said it, but it says that pain is inevitable. I mean, we're going to have that happen in life sometimes,
Yeah,
but suffering is optional. And it is how
exactly.
we go through the processes that make it difficult because of the perspective around how people are interpreting, the
Yeah.
experience. And most of the time, people are misinterpreting their experience. And so when you're in a spiritual awakening, and process, and then coming into the spiritual alignment, you have to make sure that you are syncing up and catching up with your evolution. And that does
Yes.
involve what you just talked about in terms of the planet shifting and moving very fast and really rebirthing and evolving into a new creation, because we ourselves are having to come into a new creation. And that's why we are experiencing what most are calling the new earth experience, but it
Mm-hmm.
also is the new human experience. And so within this new human experience, there is the new awakenings and the new alignment. And also there's new purposes that are going to be facilitated in this new experience. And so that's why it's
Yes.
important that those who are awakening become aligned with that truth and connection to this newer experience, so that they can sync up with what their purpose is going to be for this new expansion, and not continue to hold on to what they believe their purpose. I say sometimes certain purposes have expired because
Yeah.
people have evolved, but because they aren't catching up with their evolution, they're continuing in the same process of purpose and just trying to expand that level. But they need to come into a greater awareness that no, there's something more, and the awakening journey that you've been on is leading you to this evolutionary experience. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I think that people need to congratulate themselves and celebrate the fact that, you know, they didn't just give up on the old purpose, they actually achieved
right.
it. Whether they realized it or not, it took every one of us to get the planet to evolve. Every single one of us contributed. And, you know, pat yourself on the back and congratulate yourself for a job well done, for achieving it. We made it. We helped the earth get into this new vibration.
That's right.
That's worth celebrating.
Absolutely. That was so well stated. And on the note of job well done.
Yeah.
Not only should you celebrate and congratulate yourself, but also receive the benefits and rewards for participating in going through the process, so that now you can actually be an awakened-preneur that is spiritually aligned and be able to now utilize your experience, the evolution of your experience, to be able to help others wake up more. And as you discover your higher conscious calling, you're going to help others to discover their, not just their higher conscious calling, but also a conscious way of living, because that's what's going to take, as Brenda mentioned, is that waking up isn't optional. And so if waking up isn't optional, that means you have to sync up with what the requirements are for this experience. And one thing we know is that the spiritual aspect is something that's going to continuously go on. And those who are healers and really feel called to do, you know, something major in terms of the transformation of others, you have to have that spiritual alignment. And with that alignment, you have to be awakened. And Brenda, you and I have had conversations in terms of, as it relates to alignment, and using kind of the analogy about a car, a vehicle. And when you're traveling, and if the alignment is not right in the vehicle, then it doesn't matter whether you're on the right path or not. You're going to struggle to keep that alignment. The journey will not be with ease. So it's not enough just to be on the right path to your calling and be aligned with that path and that purpose. You also have to stay connected and be grounded spiritually so that you can continue to awaken. And as you awaken, you become more aligned for the next step, the next step, the next step. And so, go ahead.
Nope, I just agreed. I'm
just
nodding my head verbally.
Oh, okay. Amen corner over there. Thank you. So, yeah, so having that that alignment, as I mentioned, it brings you into the connection to continue in the awakening process. And so with that, you're going to get or receive, I should say, wisdom and insight of how do you actually put this in the marketplace in an entrepreneurial format. How do you leverage what you've experienced in this way, where you can make the impact and the income? And so that's really the higher wake-up call agenda for this particular session that we're doing in the sacred space that we've created here, is that we want you, yes, to wake up to this higher alignment and be more awake to yourself and your truth and discover what that higher purpose is. But also, because you're here to lead and to serve, you have to allow yourself to be compensated in a way that's going to be profound. And the profoundness is that this can actually take care of your livelihood or lead you to different avenues. And so you want to be awakened to those possibilities so that you can align with all of the different opportunities that can make this a very holistic, profitable experience. Would you agree, Brenda?
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Yes, it does. It makes a huge difference. And being able to have this experience from this higher vantage point and to be in a higher level of consciousness as it relates to your calling, and allowing one calling to give birth to another calling to give birth to another calling. And that's how you continuously birth yourself in this higher spiritual alignment, and then teach this to others so that they
Yeah.
can make this greater impact. And so Brenda, would you like for me to uh, share a little bit about how we're creating this experience, for others, or do you have anything else you would like to talk
No,
about?
I'm not shy about interrupting you when I have something to add.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. So,
I'll
and
let
I
you
know
go
that you
ahead.
will. All right, and I know that you'll conclude us,
Yeah.
with some empowerment here, but. The whole premise of being able to awaken to yourself and to be in alignment starts with really understanding that we are in a new time and a new world that has emerged, and you have to be a new creation within this experience. And so, Brenda and I have publications that are designed to activate that awakening aspect and enrich your awakening journey, but also to be in this entrepreneurial state of beingness, entrepreneurial state of awareness, and a leadership state of awareness, a leaderpreneurship, I should say, state of awareness. And so we do have also an opportunity for you to be a part of a mini course that is going to help you to take this journey to the next level. But we want to start with just sharing the publications. And so I'm going to share two from Brenda, and one is Prepare for Your Accelerated Awakening, Shifting from Resisting to Responsibility for Your Higher Purpose in the New World. And this is so important to start with. Preparation is key. And because things are moving at a rapid pace, you want to be in that accelerated awakening state of consciousness. And if you have resistance around something, then it certainly is time that you take stock and examine why are you resisting, but don't camp out there too long. Just be responsible and know that you have a higher purpose, and a new world is waiting on the new expansion and expression of you to come forth. Brenda also has a workbook publication that's called 30-Day Wake-Up Call, and it is a mini course and workbook, and it really is for your awakening journey. And so you're going to be, how can I say, exponentially enriched from this, because you will expedite your process really in less than 30 days. But going through the 30-day process so that you can ground it better certainly is going to be to your highest advantage. And before I go on to share my publications, Brenda, did you have anything that you wanted to say around your publications, or should I keep moving forward?
I think that they're both extremely useful in this awakening process. The 30-day wake-up call was written for anybody, no matter what stage they're at. Because most of us that have gone through an awakening process have not done it on every level of our being. We haven't done it. We may have done it spiritually, but not emotionally. And what the 30-day wake-up call does is really addresses the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects, just in these simple strategies that you can do in a few minutes a day. Every chapter has a little bit of information and an exercise to do. And you don't have to do it in 30 days. You could do one exercise a week, depending on what your schedule is. It's self-paced, but every one of them adds tremendous amount of value. Whether you're, in the entrepreneur space or you're just in the personal space, it adds tremendous value to how you're going to show up and exist in this new vibration.
Absolutely.
So that's good. Preparing for your the awakening process is
Yes.
really about we talked about resistance, and that's what are you still attached to in the old world, the old way of being, people, places, things, belief systems. We've got all kinds of attachments, and that's what creates the resistance. We talked yesterday about aligning, or in previous courses about that alignment process. And that's where you can actually release some of that resistance, allowing spirit to flow through you and opening up all of those blockages is how you respond to that. And then really allowing your energy to accelerate. And that's where you can reclaim your personal power, that beauty of who you are, the brilliance of you, and bring that into the world is when you go through that process. So that's basically what we're doing through the preparation stage. And that leads us into really stepping into that acceleration, embracing it, and going for the ride. So that's what I would say about those.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that for sure. And they are wonderful resources, and that's why they are being brought to the forefront, in this experience. And so I will share 3 publications of mine that really speak more to the leadership aspect and the entrepreneurial aspect, because upon the awakening experience, and as you're going through the different levels and stages, especially what Brenda even talked about and how her books prime, for this experience, is that you want to ground all those different elements of the emotions and the spirituality, and becoming the best version of yourself within that awakening process, because that's what ultimately you're going to bring to your leadership and your servitude. And so you want to be able to serve from this best self perspective that is awakened and aligned. So one of the publications that I have is Becoming a Consciously Aligned Leader. It's an emerging conscious leaders mini-handbook for aligning with their next levels of success. And then another one is Consciously Going for the Goal as a Transformational Leader. And it's a mini wisdom planner guide for achieving golden success in lifestyle and leadership. And this is very important for sure. The third one is Going for the Goal in Your Conscious Business. And it's 12 essential tips and a planner guide for achieving a winning lifestyle and business success. And so your awakening process leads you to these different levels of the greater alignment and higher states of consciousness. And when you're in these higher states of consciousness, then that's when you're going to be able to have the awakened-preneurship aspect be fully activated, so that you can lead and serve and make the impact and the income that you're here to make. Because you have to have both working together, like a hand and glove, for sure. But it's all about being conscious and being awakened and ultimately, aligned. And I mentioned that Brenda and I have a mini course, but it's actually a mini master course. And it is the Spiritually Aligned Awakened-preneur experience. And so we have information within the description for you to learn more about that. And also our publications are there. You can learn a little bit more about Brenda and I. So excited to have you join us on this journey. So Brenda, I turn it over to you.
Yeah, I'm very excited. As we were said before, the energy is moving very quickly now, and it's picking up speed, and getting people into the flow along with us now and going for this ride is very exciting. That's what's going to create an absolutely incredible world for us, for us to live in, and for us to leave as a legacy to future generations, something that we can be proud to leave in their hands.
Yes.
and it's going to take all of us coming on this journey together. So,
Absolutely.
really glad that we're starting the process, and love to see people at the mini course or the
Yes.
training that we're doing. It's just exciting times.